Hello, and we are back with another painting session. I know it's been a while, but things get busy. But I am back with a new color pattern that I came up with a couple months ago. It's called the Nebula, and here it is, right here. And we're going to paint it on a Dinger Baits Blitz, which is about a 7-foot diver, has a weight transfer system inside for extended casting. I love it. Actually, me and Dinger helped design this together, and it's one of my favorite baits. Now, for the sake of time, what I did is I already put down a white base coat. I use Golden brand, high flow titanium white. Been using it for years, love it. And then I went ahead and did a white pearl and pearl coat. Alright, I figured you know how to do a base coat, you can put white pearl on. There's no secrets there, so why should I waste the time videotaping it? This pearl is by Testers. It's an Aztec line, but I heard they are done with these, so I'm going to look for a new pearl white to use. So let's move right along. So the next step is we're going to do some turquoise, and I use a lot of Comart paints only because they are basically ready to spray. They're fairly thin, shake it up real good, and we are going to spray about 3/4 of the way down the bait, leave the belly white. So let's get some paint in the brush. Normally when I spray, the fan is going, the exhaust fan. It's important. But I think it will drown out some of the sound right now. So you don't need much. That's all you need, right about there. Now we're going to use, it's Comart's transparent Manganese Violet Hue. Transparent Manganese Violet Hue. Alright, it can be hard to pronounce. Now I'm going to take some glitter ribbon, and I put it in a cross-stitching hoop, so it's easier to hold on to, but let me show you how it comes in the store. And I believe I found this at I think Hobby Lobby, but it comes in a roll like this. That's what it looks like. Not very expensive. You may find it at Joann's, but I haven't had to buy it in a while. Alright, so we are going to spray that violet hue just like this over the bait. I turn it around like that, press it up against it, and just a light spray. Don't go too dark. So it leaves a little pattern like that. A little goes a long way. Flip it around. Do the same thing here. And then I'll hit the back a little bit. And there it is. Very light. You don't have to do a lot to it. And I'll use the hairdryer, dry that up, and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, now we're just going to start working on some detail. If I didn't mention it earlier, today I'm using an Iwata HPCS. Had this thing 9 years. My second one, but I've been using them for 9 years. The compressor is a California Airtools with a 1 gallon tank, but I don't think they make the 1 gallon anymore. I believe they have like 1.6 gallons. Either way, great compressor. I've had it for a long time. Now we're going to get into some of the details, and I like using these stencils I get from Anarchy Models out of the UK. Their website is anarchymodels.co.uk, and it really changed the way I paint. So they have a huge selection of stencils you can use. This one I used for crappie and for just, a number of things. So this is what we're going to use. This is an HS46, and you'll find that on their website. And we're just going to do some random spots on the bait here. Don't go too dark. That's important. Remember, a little goes a long way. I do a little bit, lift it up, see where I'm at. And that cobalt blue from Comart kind of blends in nice with the turquoise and that violet. Go easy, don't go too dark. Subtle looks more natural. See if you can see that. Very subtle. And we'll flip it around, and the key is to do the exact same thing on the other side. Sometimes, I'm not always successful, but we'll try it. Let's go easy. Don't go too far down the belly. I like to leave the belly mostly white, but that's up to you. These videos are more for learning the techniques, and then you can put your own spin to it. So if you want spots down on the belly, go ahead, have at it. It's your bait. Remember, very subtle. Love these stencils. And they're not terribly expensive. I forgot how much they are, but you'd have to go on their website. And they are really quick to ship. I think I got these from the UK in 2 weeks. And that's not bad considering how travel is nowadays and shipping and things like that. So I'm going to dry that, and then we'll go on to the next color. Alright, now we're going to use another Anarchy Model stencil. And this one is just a little bit smaller. And when you buy them, they come in pairs. So this was the HS46, I believe. And this is attached to it, just a little bit smaller. Alright, so we're going to use a Wicked paint. I like Wicked. They're a line from Createx. And Wicked is a little thinner, a little easier to spray, I think, compared to the straight Createx. But I did thin this out just a little bit. And this is a Wicked Opaque Pyrrole Orange. It's a new color I thought I'd try, and it worked out pretty good. Again, we're going to use this orange and just make some spots kind of randomly where we did the cobalt blue spots. Again, not too heavy, because you want these colors to blend together and not have like orange so dominant. So do a few, then see where you're at. Get you in the picture here. There's a few little orange spots there. Do a few and see where you're at. This looks pretty good. Move the stencil around so you can get random shapes. Alright, get a little more here on the top. Alright, you can see that. The orange spots there. doesn't really stick out huge, but it blends in and works well with all the other colors. I think this orange is really what kind of brings this bait to life. All right, do the other side. Do a few, see where you're at. A little more here on the tail. All right. And I'll probably just do a little bit here on the shoulders. But the back is going to get some color, so let me cover up some of this. And some here. Okay. There we are. Now it's all coming together. Okay, we're going to continue on with a little more detail. Again, this is also a stencil from Anarchy Models. This one is, let's see, I think it's designated HS16 Creature Feature 2. Nice small dots. And what I do, I just take some golden titanium white and just do a little bit of detail on the gill plate. You really don't need much. Just like that. You don't do the other side. The reason I like doing lighter colors like this for detail is if the bait is really dark, add some contrast and lighten it up a little bit with some white or a lighter color. I mean, you don't have to do white on the gill. You can do maybe do those orange spots again. Right there on the gill plate. Okay, the one thing I did forget to show you earlier when we were shooting that Wicked Pyroli orange, remember we did the orange spots on the side? While you have the paint out, do the throat. And I forgot to do that, and I don't know why, but I forget about that all the time. So just go lightly around the throat, bring it up on the sides a little bit, so it blends a little bit with the body. Doesn't take much. There we go. Perfect. I like that. Okay. Coming up to the last few colors. As you can see, it doesn't take much to make a bait look really good. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to take hours to paint. Alright, now I have Wicked detailed black magenta. And with the Wicked lines, the detail just means transparent. And we're going to spray a little bit of this on the back. Sometimes I thin these paints out even just a little bit more. It is pretty dark, so I like to thin it out so we can see a little bit of the underlying colors. Again, it's all up to you. Find out what works best for you. Right. So just a little bit of this black magenta right here on the back, and just let it fall down the spine and the sides. Darkens up pretty nice. So let's not overspray it on the sides of the bait. Not too dark. I kind of like how that looks a little more. There we go. Black magenta. I bought it a while ago. At first I didn't like it, and now I found uses for it, and I love it. Alright, now what I'm going to do next, most people do the very last step, and that is adding eyes, and I'll tell you why here in a minute why we're doing the eyes now. I do put just a little dot of super glue, because when I didn't do that, the eyes, sometimes if the backing wasn't sticky enough, the eyes would come off as I'm dipping the clear coat, and that's never fun. So let's just pop the eyes in here. One. I mean, you You don't have to color the eyes, but that's the plan here. Is I do the eyes now, and then the next and final step is my black gill plate detail, and I'll just spray a little bit of that black over the eyes and shade the eyes a little bit so they look a little more natural. Okay, there's the eyes. And the eyes I like to use, I really like to get them at Tackle Warehouse. These Boss eyes, and they have a huge selection. I've been using those for years also. So we're going to keep this rolling. Get my brush clean and get some black paint ready. So we put the finishing touches on this one. Alright. Again, I got some Wicked Black. I got the big container, or big bottle, because I use a ton of it. Alright. Get some black. I kind of like to thin it out just a little bit. The amount you thin is entirely up to you, but it sprays a little better when it is thinner. If it's too thick, you have to bump your pressure up. Alright. Now when you put paint in your brush, always test spray it somewhere, whether it's on your booth or on a napkin or something. You don't want to test spray it on your bait because you just worked an hour on this, and then to ruin it, that would be horrible. Alright. For my gill markings, I use these gill wheels. Gill fin wheels. So here's the gill marks, and here's all the different fin types. I get these from Insane Custom Stencils. Russ Allen makes these. Awesome. I've been using these for years. If you don't have them, they're a must-have for painting. I can't imagine not using them. But I mean, you can make your own, but these are great. I can wash them off with a little bit of Windex, and they clean up and they last. I've had this for 3 years. So I'm going to do a little bit of black on the gill marking here. Put it right up against the gill. And I spray the mark. And then I come down a little bit on that edge. Just like that. See that? And then a little bit on the eye, not much. I have something on the eye. It looks like I have a piece of paper or something. There we go. Alright, a little bit on the eye. Just a little bit. So, perfect. You can still see the pupil a little bit. Alright, we'll do the back side. And another gill mark. Just like that. Yep, we gotta get the eye. And then I like to just spray it down the back and get a little bit on the nose. And I get some leading up to the eyes. And I think we can call that done. See, I love how the light blue and the turquoise and the cobalt blue work with that orange. I mean, perfect. And a little bit of that white detail on the gill. Doesn't take much to make a bait to look really good. How many steps do we do? I don't know, 6 or 7. Doesn't take much. Easy pattern. I will show you how I clear coat this with Alumilite here next. Alright, now it's time to clear coat. And I use Alumilite, which is a UV cure. It doesn't cure just by the air or the evaporation. It needs UV lights. And so I bought some Alumilite and I store it in a jar like this, a mason jar. And I actually heat it up for about an hour and a half. It's in a crock pot that I set to low. The crock pot I got at Walmart for about $14. And so I warm it up, and that will help because people that don't warm it up have said that their finish has come out kind of dull looking. So I have a little aluminum wire here and a little drip wire here. Some people say you don't need it. I've always used it. So we are going to see if I can do this in one hand. We're going to dip. I get it all. Alright. Bill and everything. Let some of that excess drip off. And then I have a wire or a string actually here in my booth where it'll sit and for a few minutes where it'll drip some of the excess off. While it does that, I have another little wire that I use to clean out the hook keeper, at least in the front here. The rear hook keeper I'll do later. Let's poke a little hole in there. Let's try that again. There we go. Alright, so we'll let that drip for a few minutes. While that's dripping, I'll show you what I have for a setup. I built this box. Some people do rectangular boxes, and the problem I had with the rectangular box that I even built one years ago was the top of the bait wasn't getting cured as well as the sides because I didn't have lights on the top. So what I did is I built an octagonal box with 3 bulbs on each angle. So there's 6 total, and there's the bar where I hang the baits, and I have 2 fans, both exhausting some of the heat out the sides. So what I like to do while that is dripping, turn the fans on first, and then I warm the lights up. And I have a little timer right here, got it at Home Depot, 5 minutes. And with illuminate, you really only need 30 minutes. And that's how bright it gets. Don't stare at those lights. Okay. So, looks like the drips have pretty much stopped. Just about. And then I'll walk this over to the lights. And pretty much right away it starts to harden, but it's about 30 minutes for a full cure. And I'll close this up. See, the good thing about the lights on the angle is now I'm getting the top part of the bait. Alright, 30 minutes and we'll be done. And here it is, all finished, nice and shiny, very durable. Yeah, I love this color. It's called Nebula. It's on my website, www.luremeincrankbaits.com. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I will do another one sooner than I did this one.